Welcome to the kingdom. I'm Chris, and this is Good Enough Gaming. Hi everyone, and welcome to this unscripted video. I noticed today that GW announced their Christmas Battle Force boxes, and I know I have started numerous armies from these Battle Forces. Some of them were just too good to pass up. So, I'm curious to see what they have. Let's take a look through, and we'll see what we got here. So we got 6, I think that's pretty standard. We got, looks like 2 of them for the Imperium, 1 for Chaos, and 3 for Xenos. So a little light on the Chaos side instead of like a 2, 2, and 2, but that's what we got. So let's dive in and see the specifics here. So first we got the Leagues of Votan. Now I personally collect these. I've always loved the way that the Space Dwarves looks. I know some people were upset that the Leagues of Votan didn't have more of the aesthetic from the old squats, but I'm just happy that we have Space Dwarves back. So I'm looking at this, and as a player who already collects these, my first thought is, I don't need this box. I already have everything here, except maybe the one guy standing on the rocks there. I don't have him, but I don't need to buy an entire box to get him. So if you already got it, I don't think anyone needs 2 Hecaton land fortresses at this point. I mean, maybe if you play really big games, you might need a second transport over there, but I don't know. This does not seem like something you would add on. But then if you're wanting to get into this army, this isn't going to do it for you. I mean, just think, if you're starting a Votan army and you start dropping a Hecaton on the board, you're not going to have very many friends real quick. There's no basic troops in here. We got all Hearthguard. So while this is a cool looking army here, this isn't anything you can exactly start off with. And if you already collect this army, there's nothing here that you don't already have. So I'm not entirely sure who they're going for with this, unless I'm missing something. Let me know down in the comments. But for this one, I'm kind of Alright, next one, we got Orcs. I'm glad they have Orcs. Orcs is one of the ones I bought to start a new army. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to play Orcs. They were a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I ended up selling them because 9th edition undid what I had built. My whole army was based around one very specific way of playing, and that got removed. So I sold off my Orc army. But looking at this looks like a good way to get started. It looks like we've got some basic troops. We got some cavalry. We got a couple heroes, it looks like, characters. And then we got big guns. So it's a nice spread. So I think definitely if you're looking to start Beast Snaggers, this would be a way to do it. If you already play them, I imagine you probably have most of these, maybe the big one not. I don't know, I just remember when I was an Orc player, you could always have more boys, that's for sure. But did you really want more boys? I don't know, that's a topic for discussion. So this is definitely something if you're thinking of getting started. If you already play Orcs, I don't know if this is going to add anything you don't already have. Now, Guardsmen, this one's an interesting one here. Not 1, but 2 Rogel Dorns. Typically, you'd think they'd give you like a Leman Russ, an APC, a Rogel Dorn and a smaller tank, but no, they give you a bunch of squishy infantry and then 2 massive heavy tanks. That's kind of an interesting take on it. So if you're looking to start Imperial Guard, I suppose this could be interesting. I mean, you got 2 squads of infantry and a command squad. You drop a Rogel Dorn on a 500 to 1,000 point game, again, you're going to irritate your opponent, but, I mean, if they're bringing that first one with the dwarves, they're bringing a Hecaton, so I suppose it balances out. So this could be a way to get into it, but if you buy this to start your Guard army, just know you're going to have to be spending a lot before you got it more fleshed out. If you already play Guard, you probably don't need any more infantry. My Guard army at this point, I imagine I'm on the low end, and I have over 100 individual infantry. So I don't know, maybe I'm at the super low end, maybe I'm in the middle. Let me know. If you play Guard, how many individual infantry guardsmen do you have? Not counting, like Kazarkin or any of the specialists. Just the basic Guard. How many do you got? I'm just curious. But if you don't have any Rogel Dorns, I don't know, maybe you can find someone to split the box with. Each you gets a squad and a Dorn. That might be something to add to an existing collection. That's a possibility. Alright, what do we got here? We got Space Marines. Now, they're painted Ultramarine, but they're not sold as Ultramarine, which might explain the one thing I'm certainly noticing here. There's nothing big. We've had Rogel Dorns. We've had, I can't remember what this is, I apologize. We have a Hecaton. Like, we've got big stuff. And if we scroll down here, big stuff, we got big stuff. There's nothing big here. So that's kind of interesting. It's the only one that doesn't. Now, I imagine they can't throw in something like a Guilliman because then it's only going to appeal to Ultramarines. So I guess they're trying to go with vanilla here so that no matter what chapter you play, you can go for this. But at the same time, it seems a lot of these boxes are selling you something big to really grab you. Here's a few small models, here's a few units, but then here's your centerpiece. And they don't have that here. Not a repulsor, not any of the tanks, the gladiators, or anything like that. No dreadnoughts. Very, very infantry heavy. Fast, that's for sure. And you definitely get 2 squads of the new assault intercessors and an assault character, so that would definitely be something that Space Marine players would be interested in. So this, while I'm not impressed with the fact that there's nothing big, this would be both a good get into the Space Marines army to start with and a good add to your existing collection, I think. Now, the one thing I got to chuckle with, and there's a reason this thing's stuck way in the back here, I sometimes joke that what goes in these boxes is the stuff that GW can't sell anywhere else. That's why for a long time some of the Start Collecting boxes had Phobos Marines, because nobody wanted them. But every box that came out, look, more Phobos Marines. I have not seen very many of these on a table, other than for someone to say, I bought it and I need to use it. But I haven't seen too many builds that incorporate a lot of those. So that could be what's happening here. So on the one hand, not impressed that there's nothing big to get excited about here. But it seems like it's both a good addition to an existing collection or a good way to start if you want a really fast army. Maybe White Scars or something would really benefit from this. Alright, down to Tyranids. Now, I'm not a Tyranid player, but I have played against a lot of Tyranids. This, to me, looks like a potential good starter. You got 2 squads of Gaunts, you got a squad of Gene Stealers, so you got some chaff, you got some more elites, you got a massive winged hive tyrant over there, and then you got this monstrosity, see? The big stuff. So, definitely something you could buy if you're getting into this. If you're looking to start up playing Tyranids, I think this would be a possibility for you, because you could easily flesh this out with some other stuff. Like 1 unit at a time, and you'd still be able to run and build with it. As far as adding to an existing collection, I imagine most players have more Gaunts and Gene Stealers than they really ever are going to need. And they probably have a Winged Hive Tyrant, so the only thing they don't have is this guy here. So, again, I could be wrong here, but this looks like a box set that's good to start into the army, but doesn't add too much if you already collect. And then the last one here, we've got World Eaters. Squad of Berserkers, Squad of the 8, or whatever those guys are called. I apologize, I'm not up to snuff on my lore and terminology. And then you get Angron in the middle. I mean, that's pretty cool. Again, this looks kind of like I wouldn't say this is a great army to get started with. If you're gonna buy an army for someone to get into the hobby, they can't exactly bring Angron into a 1,000-point game and not ruffle a few feathers here. So this looks more like add-on to a collection. You get the new sculpts of the Berserkers, you get the new units, you get the Primarch. This one looks like it's definitely being marketed to folks who already have a World Eaters army, and here's an excuse to get some more or to get some new. So, alright, so let's do overall here. What do we got? Not sure about this one. Don't think you can start in with it, and it doesn't have a whole lot to add. So, looks nice, but yeah, no thanks. This one here, good to start in. I imagine you could add, even if you play Orcs, you could add a Beast Snag, a detachment, and I'm sure that'll come in when they release the Codex. Down here, I think, as I said before, this would be a great box to split. You and another Guardman, each you take a squad and a tank, and whoever ends up paying the tax on the box gets the command squad. I don't know, something like that, but you get the idea. Here, good to start with, good to add to. I'm just disappointed there's nothing larger to get excited about. This one I think would be a great kit to get started into Tyranids, although if you already play Tyranids, I don't know if there's much to offer here that would justify buying the whole thing. And same thing with this. This looks more like an add-on box rather than a starter box. So, let me know what you guys think. I'm curious. Would you consider buying one of these to start an army? Would you buy one of these to add on to an existing army? Or are you going to just bypass all of them? Now, we don't have the prices here. That's another very important thing to think about. And I will be very curious once they announce how much these are, how much the savings is actually going to be. So if I can be Johnny on the spot with it, when they announce the pricing, maybe we'll come back to these and actually do a live comparison of if we bought all this stuff individually, how much are we actually saving getting in a bundle. But there it is. And it looks like at the bottom here, they're going to announce the Age of Sigmar battle forces soon too. So we'll do another quick video looking over those. So I'd say in general, these look good enough.